Right now at 5, small business advisors in Miami give some big hands-on training.
And we're tracking Hurricane Helene as it moves closer to our area and what that means for us.
Plus, a federal agency gives some serious grief to an Iowa school district for some brand new school buses.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Elise Snowe.
And I'm Lindsay Gaffney.
Yes, and it's finally Friday here in the 4 states. So whether it's the end of your work week, the middle of your work week, or you're just starting, we're happy to have you. And are we going to be happy about the weather today?
It depends. I don't mind some cloudy days,
sure.
You know, a little relaxing. We're not getting much rain, but we can go ahead and take a look outside. So we're tracking Hurricane Helene. Now, it's not close to us just yet. It's still in Georgia and South Carolina, but you can already see a lot of the rain is pushing through Tennessee, Kentucky, and even getting into Missouri already. Now, are we going to get any of that rain? Not quite sure about that. Pretty doubtful. But we are getting a lot of clouds. So even this morning, we're going to start to see these clouds starting to push in, and we're going to have mostly overcast skies all day Friday and all day Saturday. Currently, though, looking pretty good. Temperatures about 54 degrees, and this is as cool as it's going to get, maybe another degree cooler, but a cool start to the morning. Temperatures are not going to warm up much because of the overcast skies. So for the most part, we're only getting up to mid 70s. Normally we'd be in the upper 70s by about 1 p.m. But like I said, because of the overcast skies, we're in the lower 70s, only getting up to about 75, 76 degrees. So we're going to keep an eye on Hurricane Helene as it moves into our area. As you can see out in South Carolina and Georgia, they've got tornado watches. Could be a dangerous storm. By the time it gets to our area, mostly died down, maybe a couple sprinkles. But I'll have more details coming up.
All right, thanks, Lindsay. Well, Joplin police investigate what happened during Wednesday night's fatal SUV motorcycle crash. Now, the crash occurred at 44th and Main. Authorities closed the area for about 4 hours, and according to the JPD, a north to westbound SUV collided with a southbound motorcycle. A female passenger on the motorcycle died at the scene. The 40-year-old male driver was rushed to an area hospital with serious injuries. Authorities have not yet released the names. Well, authorities yesterday responded to reports of a car crash into a building on the 100 block of Joplin's Main Street. That building is apparently a private club, and authorities say the 2 people in the vehicle and the 1 person in the building were not injured. Following an examination by the Joplin building inspector, the building will remain closed. And to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. Well, people interested in starting a business got some hands-on training in Miami yesterday. The Oklahoma Small Business Development Center hosted a special business startup training event. The event provided a back-to-basics approach to starting a business, covering things such as legalities, tax basics, best management practices, and more. The event also offered encouragement to grow local businesses.
Somebody's will reach out to me and say, "Hey Jesse, your class really helped me out. That I got 5 new customers in my business and stuff, or I finally know how to work a website that I've been having trouble with, or like say I had no clue how to do financial projections, and that was a big problem that kind of stopped me from starting a business."
Oklahoma Small Business Development Center advisors were on hand to help. Well, a Southeast Kansas school district will get electric school buses due to an EPA grant. The buses for the Iola School District will be funded through a nearly $700,000 grant courtesy of the bipartisan infrastructure bill. Now, within that bill, $5 billion was set aside to provide electric school buses to districts across the country. Iola is one of nearly 100 school districts in the 4-state area to be given this type of grant.
These clean school buses, electric vehicle technology, reduces greenhouse gas emissions and protects children and the environment by protecting the school bus drivers, certainly the children, school staff, and the communities through which the school buses drive through.
The grant money will also pay for the chargers for the buses. The district hopes the new school buses will be implemented into the bus routes this January. Well, the seniors from McDonald County High School got busy educating the district's elementary school students about the importance of agriculture yesterday. KOAM's Lonnie Walton takes us from the classroom to the barnyard.
I believe having a good, firm, concrete education about it at a young age is a good way to be introduced into it.
High school senior Rut Keaton is the student president of McDonald County FFA. He dreams of being a farmer one day. That means taking younger students to the barnyard is right up his alley.
A lot of the kids here have never seen agriculture, never seen a cow, never seen a tractor, and I just love the reaction to it.
Senior Vivian Latham is returning an experience she once had as a freshman.
I was a freshman in high school. I stepped out of my comfort zone and started ag, and it was probably one of the best decisions I had ever had in my entire life.
Both Keaton and Latham say helping elementary students understand the importance of farming is an experience they won't forget.
To see the second graders for one last time is such an important part of my life.
They're learning hands-on in front of them, and they're just excited to be here. That's my favorite part.
Reporting in McDonald County, I'm Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
Administrators and teachers at McDonald County High School expressed their pride for the seniors during the event. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes, coming up on the KOAM Morning News. The undefeated Neosho football team prepares for its matchup tonight with Webb City. We'll have those details. Plus, Pope Francis meets the Grand Duke of Luxembourg as part of his trip to Europe. And we have a cool and cloudy day today. We'll have what to expect with Lindsay Gaffney in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Well, it's regional championship time for high school softball in Oklahoma. Fairland won both its games Wednesday, while Wyandotte had one win and one loss. That put the Lady Bears in a win or go home game against Caney Valley yesterday morning. Wyandotte loses 6-4. This comes after the Bears beat the Trojans Wednesday, but it ends Wyandotte's season and gives Caney Valley a berth in the title game. Fairland 2-0 in the first day of regionals. Owls play for the championship this afternoon against Caney Valley. Bottom of the first inning, runner on second, Aubrey Kinsey skies one to shallow center. That's going to drop down and a run will score. Now, Owls take the early lead, but Kinsey is thrown out at second. Third inning, Olivia Bartley sends one back up the middle and through. Another run will score. Owls up 2-0. Then in the fourth, a couple runners on a Lake and McCoy pokes it the other way into right field. It drops down, and that's an RBI single. It's 4-0 Owls. Aubrey Kinsey in the circle for Fairland. She's on her game, gets a couple strikeouts early. Then in the fifth, Caney Valley gets some life with a double down the line in left. Doesn't phase Kinsey though. She gets a strikeout one batter later and escapes the inning with the shutout intact. Then in the seventh, Kinsey slams the door on the Trojans, gets a flyout to right to end the game. Well, the Lady Owls are 2024 regional champions, and they beat Caney Valley 5-0 in the title game and advance to Super Regionals next week. Now, Neosho High School football is 4-0 for the first time in 30 years. 1994 was the last time the Wildcats won their first 4 games of the season. Now, this week, the Wildcats try to improve to 5-0 as they go on the road to perennial powerhouse Webb City. The undefeated Neosho Wildcats hit the practice field yesterday afternoon in anticipation of maybe their biggest game of the season so far. They're on the road at Webb City tonight. The Wildcats' 4th year Head coach Brandon Tauti told us earlier this summer that this would be the year his team breaks through, and they've backed that up so far.
It's just their work ethic. You know, we've been together now for 4 years. This senior class was freshman my first year, and so we know each other well, and they know the expectation and the standard that we're trying to live at. And not a surprise to us, but we're not satisfied. We just want to keep working and getting better every single day.
It's always a great environment in Webb. That's all kind of our favorite field to play at. It's always a great environment. Their fans are always heckling you and everything. It's just a tough environment to play in, and we just like the challenge to go in there and play, and hopefully we can come out with a win.
Well, Royals at Nationals trying to finish off a sweep. Second inning, Royals down 1-0. Hunter Renfroe crushes one off Patrick Corbin for the solo home run. His 14th of the season. Game now tied at 1-1. Well, top of the third inning, Royals lead 2-1. Bobby Witt Jr. gets a base hit. 1 run scores, Royals up 3-1. Later in the third, same score, bases loaded. Yuli Gurriel lines one up in the middle. Another run will score. It's now 4-1. Bottom of the inning, Luis Garcia Jr. erases all that work with a 3-run home run. We're tied at 4. Now we remain tied into the 9th inning. Adam Frazier into pitch, hit with 2 on, and Frazier lines one into left field. 2 runs will score. Royals go on to win 7-4 and extend their lead for the wild card spot. For health, plus a check of the 7-day forecast when KOAM Morning News returns.
Well, we are tracking the tropics now. The Hurricane Helene has started to push inland in South Carolina and Georgia. Right now, we're looking good, though. Taking a look at downtown Pittsburgh. A little traffic out there, although it's only 5:15 in the morning. People are still just now getting up, getting ready to start your day. Currently, it's clear skies, but as Hurricane Helene moves a little bit closer to our area, we can start to see those clouds pushing in, and we're going to be mostly cloudy skies by about 10 a.m. So clouds move in pretty quick. We might have a couple of showers, a little mist as they do push in. Showers was dramatic. A little mist, maybe, along with some of those clouds. We're not getting any rain, unfortunately. We need it. Drought tracker got updated yesterday, and as you can see, we are still in that severe drought, southwestern Missouri and along the border in Kansas and Oklahoma. Now, it did shift a little bit. Our northern counties in Missouri were more in that severe drought, though it has shifted a little south. And then northern counties in Kansas, dry, so they're no longer really in a drought, dry conditions, but that doesn't mean they're in a drought. So we're doing all right. We could be worse off, but unfortunately we don't have a lot of rain on the forecast for the next couple of weeks. Now, today, like I said, we could see a bit of a mist, though this really isn't going to make it to the surface. So we're mostly just going to have those overcast skies as it pushes in. This is 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Now, again, maybe a little mist in some of those eastern counties, but really not expecting much because the bulk of the rain is going to be just east of even Springfield. So Springfield may not even see any rain either. But again, mostly cloudy skies. Are high today in the mid to upper 70s and even reaching low 80s in the far western counties, 81 in Parsons, 83 in Yates Center, 77 in Joplin. And then clouds do eventually clear out, but that's not until Saturday night. So we're going to be mostly cloudy today and tomorrow, along with strong wind gusts up to 25-30 miles per hour through most of the day. And then by the evening time, gusting up to 35-40 miles per hour in the far eastern counties. Now, as we get into the overnight hours, we're mostly just seeing winds 25-30 miles per hour. And then Saturday, 20 to 25 miles per hour. Then winds will start to die down as clouds clear out on Sunday as well. Now, starting your morning off, temperatures are going to be in the mid 50s, so a little bit of a cooler start again today and partly cloudy. We're going to see those clouds really start to push in after about 8 to 9 a.m. Winds are light right now, but the later into the day we get, the stronger those wind gusts get. And temperatures are not warming up that much today, only getting up to about 77, 78 degrees, mostly cloudy and windy as well. Again, not really going to expect any kind of showers today. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy still, 80 degrees, so we're starting to see that warm up now. Today, again, we're only getting up to the upper 70s for most of us. Winds are still going to be gusting up to about 20-25 miles per hour through most of the day on Saturday as well. And then we start to really warm up. So starting Sunday and Monday, low 80s to mid 80s, especially on Monday, mid to upper 80s. But then we have a wind shift line Monday night into Tuesday, so temperatures drop again down to upper 70s, not a big drop. But then we warm up again Wednesday and Thursday, pretty hot actually, low 90s. We might break some records with that one because temperatures on average are in the upper 70s. So we're nearly 20 degrees warmer on Thursday than we should be for this time of year. Now, outside of that, it's going to be mostly sunny skies, not a lot of chances of rain in the next week and a half. Unfortunately, we definitely need it, but temperatures are going to be mostly uniform in the 80s. Now we'll be right back.
Topping Health Watch this morning. Well, space travel may not be for the faint of heart, but it also may not be good for the human heart. Now, a new zero gravity study looking at the health impacts of long-term space travel found heart tissues become weaker and more inflamed the longer an astronaut is in space. Now, given missions to Mars could mean as much as 2 years spent in zero gravity, researchers say the findings are critical for doctors to protect against the risk of heart disease. Previous studies have shown that astronauts return to Earth with reduced heart muscle function and irregular heartbeats. Some symptoms, though not all, dissipate over time following their return. Now, a separate ongoing study is currently looking at drugs that may protect from the effects of low gravity. Well, 988 suicide and crisis hotline callers will soon get more localized help. The Department of Health and Human Services says callers will be directed to help centers based on their physical location rather than their phone number's area code. Verizon and T-Mobile started rolling out geo-routing technology last week. AT&T is planning to begin the process in the coming months. Meanwhile, the Federal Communications Commission is also expected to vote on a rule that would require all wireless carriers implement geo-routing for 988 calls. Senior administration officials say geo-routing aggregates information about a caller's location while maintaining their privacy. Well, new polls suggest more young men are at risk for gambling addiction. The survey conducted by Farley Dickinson University finds 10% of young men in the U.S. ages 18 to 39 show behavior indicating a gambling problem. Respondents were asked a battery of questions, including if they borrowed money to gamble or if gambling causes financial or emotional stress. 24% of men reported at least one problem behavior. That percentage went up to 45% for men 30 and under. Results also show those problems are closely related to online betting on sports and online slot machines. Well, more than 218 million adults aged 18 and over report drinking alcohol at some point in their lifetime, according to the 2023 National Survey on Drug Use and Health. How our bodies process this substance depends on many factors, including age. Amanda Gaither lays out the 3 main reasons why and what older adults should keep in mind if they choose to drink.
How much is too much? When it comes to health, any amount of alcohol has potential consequences, and as we age, the way it affects a person changes too.
First of all, your muscle mass goes down as you get older, and as a result, you're not going to metabolize alcohol as quickly as you used to.
Dr. Sanjay Gupta says the second reason alcohol affects older people differently is because liver function starts to decrease as the years pass. As a result, Gupta says alcohol will have a stronger impact on the body and the effects will hang around for a longer period of time. Finally, certain medicines that an older person may take can interact with the alcohol, and alcohol can increase the risk of falling too.
65% of fatal falls, especially in the elderly, are in some way associated with alcohol. So falls are a huge problem, especially in the elderly. Alcohol can exacerbate that, especially if you don't realize that it's affecting you more strongly than it used to.
Gupta says non-alcoholic drinks are gaining in popularity and may allow people to enjoy a similar drinking experience.
Important caveat, non-alcoholic can still mean small amounts of alcohol, up to 0.5%. So if you're trying to stay absolutely abstinent, you got to make sure to read those labels.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Well, alcohol can also affect men and women differently. The CDC says it's because of things like hormone levels and certain medications, but also because on average, men have larger body sizes, more muscle mass and weight, and less body fat than women. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
Well, we're still tracking Hurricane Helene, and you can see those clouds are starting to push into our eastern counties. Might see a little bit of a mist as well as we go through the morning hours, but mostly overcast skies. That continues through the next couple of days.
Right now at 5:30, some area kids take a trip back in time at Iron Days in Fredonia.
And we're tracking Helene as it moves closer to our area later on today.
Plus, the city of Carthage celebrated the opening of a new park for your four-legged friends.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:30 a.m. I'm Elise Snowy.
And I'm Lindsay Gaffney.
Yes, and it's Friday here in the 4 states, and Hurricane Helene is causing quite a bit of damage in Florida.
There was what, 15-foot storm surge, tornadoes, not to mention the whole state of Florida is in a tornado watch yesterday. Now the whole state of South Carolina in a tornado watch. It is a very dangerous storm, but by the time it gets to our area, won't be so bad. So we're watching it as it moves closer, but taking a look at the radar, I can already start to see those clouds pushing in. Now, there are some rain showers that are just east of us, east of Springfield, though we're likely not going to see any of that rain. Maybe a mist as we go through the day today, but mostly we're just getting those overcast skies. But currently out in Joplin, it's still pretty clear. Temperature is about 54 degrees, and we're going to warm up to mid to upper 70s today, so not so warm. And other than that, good visibility. All is well until those clouds start to roll in. Now, temperatures again are not warming up that high. By 10 a.m., we're still in the mid to upper 60s. Then clouds continually increase, and by noon, we are completely overcast skies, and temperatures are only in the low 70s. And we're only getting up to, as a high today, about 78, 79, and in the far western counties, maybe even up to about 80 degrees. We're not warming up because the overcast skies typically block out the sun's radiation. Now, those clouds aren't going anywhere, at least for the next couple of days. We're going to stay mostly cloudy, and temperatures are going to warm up by the weekend. I'll have more details coming up.
All right, Lindsay, thanks. Well, Carthage has a new trick for some old and young dogs in the community. Yesterday, the city celebrated the opening of the Carthage Dog Park at Municipal Park by the new playground. The four-legged and two-legged dog lovers hit the ceremony yesterday to celebrate the city's newest addition.
Just excited to be able to have a place that, you know, people can bring their dogs and take them off the leash and have them run around. We have agility equipment thanks to our Eagle Scout project and the Steadley Trust, and so it's just another component that makes the community better and you know, provides something to the citizens.
Dog park membership is $20 per household per year. And as a special grand opening offer, anyone who signs up this year will not have to pay again until January 2026. Now, all dogs must be up to date on their shots and must be spayed or neutered. Well, it was all about snakes last night in Yates Hall at Pittsburgh State University. Retired law enforcement officer, Wildcat Glades volunteer, and keeper of snakes Cameron Cruz led the presentation. Now, he taught attendees about 3 specific types of snakes: bull snakes, pine snakes, and gopher snakes.
These animals are part of our environment and our ecology, and we need to take care of that. We lose habitat every year, and that is probably one of the greatest things that we can lose, because it puts us in a situation where a lot of these animals will never be seen outside of a zoo.
Well, at the end of the presentation, snake enthusiasts had the chance to touch the fascinating creatures. Well, the 26th annual Old Iron Days gave kids a chance to see farm and domestic demonstrations. KOAM's Melissa Alexis takes us to Fredonia for the event.
We made some egg noodles and we've made some chicken and noodles. We're working on some apple pies right now.
Students who attend Old Iron Days get to see a glimpse into historic methods of farming and cooking.
This is a really good example as to what we used to have and what we used to do, and all these old machines and all of these old mechanics.
Open fire cooking demonstration. So in that demonstration, kids have an opportunity to actually cut the potatoes, stir the stew over the open fire, learn about the process of heat.
She says one of the goals of this experience is to teach students the value of cooperation and communication, and to help them learn skills they can use in the future.
We really believe in the value of hands-on learning. So there are things that make noise, things that they can taste, things that they can touch, machines that they can see running.
Whenever I grow up and have a family, I can't wait to stay home, make noodles with my kids, and do all these things, and just be a really good mom for maybe a homestead or going to work and coming home and having these quick and easy things to do.
Old Iron Days will have demonstrations of candle making, broom making, open fire cooking, and more. Reporting in Fredonia, Melissa Alexis, KOAM News.
Old Iron Days will run through this Saturday in Fredonia. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Hurricane Helene batters parts of Cuba before it barreled towards Florida's west coast. Plus, another top Hezbollah leader was taken out with an Israeli airstrike. We'll have the latest. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. Well, topping World Watch, Pope Francis meets Luxembourg's royal family as part of his trip to Europe. The pontiff was greeted by Grand Duke Henry and Grand Duchess Maria Theresa at the Royal Palace yesterday, where they exchanged gifts and posed for a family photo. His Holiness also met with the country's Prime Minister Luc Frieden. And Francis will also visit Belgium on his 4-day trip, where he will meet with King Felipe and hold mass at a stadium. Hurricane Helene batters parts of Cuba before it barrels towards Florida's west coast. Now, the powerful storm brought heavy rain and winds across western Cuba overnight, forcing some residents to evacuate by boat due to the flooding. A local weather expert said Helene dumped as much as 8 inches of rain in 24 hours across parts of the western province of Pinar del Rio. Up to 200,000 customers have been without electricity in the province of Armenia. And a reservoir in one city is threatening to overflow its banks. Now, Helene made a landfall on Florida's Big Bend last night, and the state's entire west coast is bracing for life-threatening storm surge. Well, Israel has killed another top Hezbollah terrorist. The ongoing bombardment into southern Lebanon comes as the U.S. and Western allies push a 21-day ceasefire. Israeli leadership is resisting. Mike Tobin is in Haifa, Israel, with the latest.
The man who commanded Hezbollah's deadly drones and cruise missiles, Mohammed Sarour, taken out with an Israeli airstrike in the crowded suburb of Beirut, controlled by Hezbollah. The assassination ordered by Israel's prime minister while flying to the U.S., ordered with disregard for a 21-day ceasefire, which the U.S. and France had just proposed.
My policy, our policy, is clear. We are continuing to strike Hezbollah with full force, and we will not stop.
On the verge of full-scale war, Netanyahu told his forces to increase their attacks. Israel's air campaign hit some 75 targets in Lebanon, including several on the border with Syria.
We are going to prevent any possibility of weapons transfer from Iran.
Rattling the saber, Israel's 7th Brigade drilled in the north as the Army called up reservists, while the U.S. pushed for diplomatic space for talks.
Let me be clear. Israel and Lebanon can choose a different path. Despite the sharp escalation in recent days, a diplomatic solution is still viable.
In Beirut, some residents, shaken by the airstrikes, vow to support the fight and Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah.
May God grant him a long life. We won't stop this war until war stops on Palestine.
Hezbollah continues to fire rockets and drones. People who remain in Israel's north have endured the random fire for almost a year and have no patience for a ceasefire.
We must finish with this. To kill them, to stop them, to do something, but not stop the war.
Despite the defiance, Israel just secured $8.7 billion in military aid from the U.S. $5 billion will go to systems like the Arrow and Iron Dome defense systems. Benjamin Netanyahu is in New York because he's addressing the UN in the morning.
And that's a look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. We'll be right back.
Well, taking a look downtown Pittsburgh, still pretty clear out there. None of the clouds have started to push into Pittsburgh yet. They have started to push in to our far eastern counties as we're tracking Hurricane Helene. Now, just now making it through northern Georgia and clipping South Carolina as well, though South Carolina is in a tornado watch, the entire state. This is a pretty dangerous storm, and it's already starting to push rain into most of Tennessee, Kentucky, and into eastern Missouri. Now, we are probably not going to get any of that rain. Now, there's a little bit of a shower. It might bring a little mist, especially to Stockton area and some of those northeastern counties. But for the most part, we're just going to see these clouds continue to push into the rest of our counties, and we're going to be mostly overcast skies for the rest of the day. Starting this morning, temperatures are going to be in the mid-50s, mostly just partly cloudy skies at the moment, though by about 10 a.m. we're all going to be in overcast skies, and that continues through the evening and into tomorrow. Not to mention winds are picking up as well, and temperatures are only getting up to the mid to upper 70s across the area. Now, unfortunately, like I said, we probably won't see any rain from this. It's just a little too far east, but we needed it. The drought tracker was updated yesterday. We still have a severe drought for most of our southern counties, and southwestern Missouri is all in a severe drought. Now, we did get a lot of rain this past weekend. Didn't really help us. Our northern counties are now out of a drought in Kansas, but in Missouri didn't really do much, unfortunately. Now, looking at the future track, we could see a couple of maybe mist showers in there, not showers, just mist, a little drizzle out there, but really not expecting much. All of the lighter green through this area in the eastern counties not going to be making it to the surface, but those clouds do continue to push in, and we're in those mostly overcast skies. Now, later on this afternoon, we may have a better chance for a little mist or drizzle in those far eastern counties as the bulk of the rain shifts towards Springfield, but other than that, not much. Temperatures getting up to about 78, 77 in Joplin, 81 Parsons, 83 Yates Center. So not too warm today. Overcast skies typically block it out. And the clouds stay like that through the evening and through tomorrow as well. Now, winds, like we talked about, are going to be gusting up to 30, 35 miles per hour through the morning hours today. And then as we get into the later evening hours around 8:30 p.m., you can start to see winds 35 to 40 miles per hour, especially in the eastern counties. Now, winds continue through most of the evening and into tomorrow as well. So we're still going to have a still windy day, gusts up to about 20 miles per hour. Temperatures are going to warm up though into the low 80s across the area tomorrow. And then we just continue to heat up from there. We're getting into low 80s Sunday, mid to even upper 80s on Monday. Now, Monday night, we have a wind shift line that's going to drop those temperatures again down to upper 70s, so not a drastic drop, but it will cool us off a little bit on Tuesday. Now, Wednesday and Thursday, we warm right back up to upper 80s, even low 90s. We may break some records with those low 90-degree temperatures because on average, we should be in the upper 70s. So that's 15 degrees warmer than it should be on Thursday. But outside of that, no rain chances for the next week and a half. Through next weekend, it's going to be mostly sunny skies and pretty warm temperatures for this time of year. That's a look at your forecast. We'll be right back.
Well, today in entertainment news, your first look at a big movie coming next summer and a preview of a sports drama premiering this weekend. Here's David Daniel with the Hollywood Minute.
How do I start doing what you do?
Looks like you already have.
The first trailer is out for Ballerina, part of the John Wick universe. Ana de Armas stars as an assassin trainee in the action flick, which takes place during the events of John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum. Series regular Ian McShane co-stars. Ballerina dances into theaters June 6, 2025.
It's time to rely on our traditions. You descend from warriors. We're gonna go back to the old ways.
What if we call the plays in Navajo?
We're gonna do what we do best. Res ball.
An American Indian high school basketball team bands together after the death of their star player in Res ball. The Stars say the sport is a source of community and healing for many American Indians.
It's about the coming together of our culture through our ways, which is medicine in itself. And that sense of belonging that we have with each other. It's like, you know, our culture, our language was taken away from us. And yet that is our strength in itself. So that's why, you know, the message that we have throughout the film is remember who you are.
Res ball is now streaming on Netflix. Posting up in Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Well, an amazing underwater study shows an unlikely alliance between octopuses and fish, saying they sometimes hunt together, and the lead octopus has to sometimes get tough with freeloading fish. Jeremy Roth has today's. Take a look at this.
You're not going to believe this. A new marine research study found that octopuses often work together with fish to hunt as a unit and even sometimes punch the fish that aren't doing their jobs. I swear I'm not making this up. The study, published in the journal Nature, Ecology, and Evolution, was sourced from roughly 120 hours of underwater video observing octopi working in tandem with surrounding fish that would act as scouts and direct their tentacled leaders to areas of available prey. Amazingly, freeloading fish in the group that weren't contributing would often get a swift punch in the gills from the lead cephalopod. The study shows not only a fascinating and unlikely alliance across species, but one that these alpha octopi rule with an iron fist. Tentacle, I guess. A more frightening display of predatory behavior was caught on camera in, of all places, a rock star's backyard. Video shared by Motley Crue drummer Tommy Lee shows a coyote snatching the rock star's dog from his California backyard. Lee's wife Brittany is seen chasing after the brazen predator and reportedly scaled their fence just in time to rescue the pilfered pup. Brittany later posted on Instagram details of the tense encounter and that the dog, Nina, was safe. Finally, let's calm things down with this precious pooped-out predator taking a super cute cat nap with its own plushy prey. The adorable video was shared by the Oakland Zoo to remind patrons they can donate old, worn-out stuffed animals at the zoo to be recycled and, yes, sometimes repurposed, saying the perfect plushie just hits different. More like the perfect plushie. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
Even animals need their stuffed animals sometimes. Stick around, we'll be right back. Well, the fast food wars continue as one chain announces $1 frozen dairy desserts for the rest of the month. Wendy's says it will sell its famous Frosties for $1 until the end of September. The chain partnered with the developer of the website McBroken.com, a site dedicated to tracking when and where a McDonald's ice cream machine is broken. Now, the website reports almost 15% of McDonald's ice cream machines are broken as of yesterday. To help those out who are going to McBroken.com looking for where to get a frozen sweet treat, Wendy's locations have been added to the McBroken map so fans can get a, quote, reliable and delicious option. Well, got chocolate milk. Today is National Chocolate Milk Day. The beverage might take you back to elementary school lunch, but it actually originated in the 1600s by an Irish botanist. Now, while living in Jamaica, he was introduced to a local drink made of chocolate and water. He found it too bitter and decided to add milk for taste. Now, the new drink was a hit, and the botanist then brought his discovery back to Europe and touted its health benefits. Chocolate milk has several nutrients, including calcium, protein, and vitamin D, but we all love it because it's delicious. So celebrate today with a nice cold glass.
Well, we've got clouds moving in because of Hurricane Helene. Now we may get a couple of drizzle spots out there, maybe a mist, but really we're just going to see these overcast conditions continue through the rest of today and even through tomorrow. Now, in the far eastern counties is where I think there may be a little bit of a drizzle through later on this afternoon, but really not seeing much, mostly just those overcast skies. Now tomorrow, overcast skies continue, but we do start to warm up. Lower 80s tomorrow, and then that continues even through Monday as well. We're seeing temperatures by Monday getting into the mid to upper 80s. It's well above average for this time of year. We have a wind shift line that comes in, cools us off on Tuesday, but then we warm right back up to low 90s by Thursday, which we may break some records because low 90s is about 15 to 20 degrees warmer than it should be for this time of year. So we're going to keep an eye on that. We could break a record on Thursday, but mostly just sunny skies after this weekend. We'll be right back.